All right, Knights of Apollo, welcome back to the battlefield. We are playing Medieval Kingdoms Total War, the mod for Total War Attila, and this is a classic matchup between Lithuania and the Teutonic Order. This map is a winter wonderland with some nice trees, a couple, patches of forest here. We've got open ground, and we have a giant hill, which my team, who I'm playing on the Lithuanian side, are going to have to deal with. And in today's video, we're going to talk about how to deal with defensive hill positions, how to attack them, and what is the best plan of action in trying to win a battle against such a extreme position. And of course, fellow knights, do not forget to lay siege to the like button. I want you to surround and conquer that like button. And if you haven't joined the army, what are you waiting for? Become a knight and hit that subscribe button as well. And when duty calls, do not forget to smack that bell so you never miss a video or a live stream. All right, guys, sit back, relax, get some snacks and drinks, and enjoy the battle. All right, guys, here we go on the battlefield, and let me just give you a nice bird's eye view. Let's check out these armies too. So starting with the Lithuanian side, there's 3 Lithuanian armies. So we have the first one over here on the far. This would be our left from our perspective. So he's got some levy spearmen leading the way, so very cool. I love the look of these troops advancing stealth-like through the tree lines, or the forest, I should say, getting to the tree line, which is the edge over here. My army is in the center, and unfortunately I have the task of dealing with this big hill defensive position, which we'll get to into more, I'll go into more detail in my strategy of trying to deal with this giant hill that the Teutonic soldiers control. And then right to my right, we have the final and third Lithuanian army. All these armies are pretty similar in composition. Bringing some awesome archers. The Lithuanian infantry is actually really solid, which you'll see them fight in today's battle. I love this this flag here. It looks so cool. I love Lithuania. They're awesome. Now let's go to the other side. We'll start with, from their point of view, this would be their left side. So we got a huge cav presence from this very left Teutonic army. And, there's something so clean about these knights. The white and black is just, it's so simple and so clean and so intimidating. Love the Teutonic Order. They're very, very cool uniforms. Then here's the, well, actually, this is the other part of his army. This is his infantry. Here's the center army that I will be going up against. Again, he is holding this hill, and he has no intention of leaving this hill, which we're going to have to deal with a little bit later, bringing these awesome spearmen. And then finally, the last army is kind of right at, it's, really there's no hill on this side. They are just kind of on the slope of it. See how like extreme this slope is. It's not a gradual thing. It's very flat here. So yeah, those are the armies. Let's talk strategy here. So when I first saw this, I knew, right? From learning about Gettysburg, from watching the movie Gettysburg, do not attack directly, okay? I am not going to charge up this hill and take on a rain of arrows from these Prussian archers. It's not going to happen. So this strategy I've used many times dealing with hills, and if you're ever playing Total War, you can do this too. Don't ever play the way the enemy wants you to play. So if he could have it his way, he would have me charge the hill, right? Don't do that. Do everything but that. So I was talking, and the cool thing is that I was streaming this live. So if you want to see a live version of this and me talking real-time strategy, definitely check out the live stream. It's in the live stream playlist. So I told my teammates kind of in the, out loud during the stream, hey, you guys are going to be the ones that need to push, and without them I would not be able to be effective. So a big shout out to my teammates here, but they are the ones who have to put pressure on the flanks because they do not have to deal with as extreme of a hill. So my strategy going into this one is going to be trying to bait the enemy, so to speak, into coming down the hill. And to do that is by sending extra help to my ally. So my plan was to slowly peel troops over to this right flank and kind of double team this army. And this would cause this player on the hill to make a choice. Either one, mirror my movement, as in he will also peel off troops and support his teammate, or it will cause him to get very aggressive and charge down the hill and bring the fight to me, which I do have a slight advantage. If he does attack me, I have this tree line here, which would give me a little bit of cover from archer fire. So it's not much, but it's something, right? So that is his two options. In either way, it's good for me. So for example, if he charges down the hill, that's pretty obvious. He no longer holds the hill and he's bringing the fight to me, which puts, gives me the advantage. If he just mirrors my movement and peels troops when I peel troops, that's also in my favor, or at least it's a neutral kind of favor, because we're fighting in a more flatter area, right? So this area would be flatter. It would be more of an even fight. So either way, I'm not going up here whatsoever, unless there's some crazy situation where I saw a weakness up here, which I don't think is going to happen. So I'm not even worried about this army. I'm constantly looking over at my teammate here. Now, my other teammate, I just felt like was too far away. So there's nothing, I mean, I could have sent over a cav unit, but I don't like sending units too far away from my main army, because first off, the micro is really intense. If you're trying to micro, for example, if I'm fighting over here, I can quickly look over here in a matter of seconds, right? I can quickly shift over and look at the rest of my forces. Over here, if I'm fighting cav way over here, it's going to be like, oh, what's going on here? Now, it's not a big deal, but it's just something that, I thought this would be more in my advantage if I help my teammate over on this side, with troops, and just hope that my ally, and I wasn't talking to my ally, but I was just hoping that he just kept this army busy. He just keeps the Teutonic Order busy on this side and just keep them occupied while we hopefully overwhelm this flank and eventually swing around this way and take on the Teutonic Order. So we'll see how that plays out. It looks like the battle is going to start off here very soon. Perfect timing, right? Because I just went through all of our, initial thoughts of the battle and positioning and what potentially we could do. But yeah, we can see that the Lithuanians have a lot of cav here on their right flank. They're, again, mirroring their opponent, where the Teutonic Order has a lot of cav. Now, I was a little worried about the Teutonic Order, and this is a common thing that you see in 1212 AD in these cav engagements. You'll see the cav kind of, square off against each other, and then you'll see anti-cav infantry in the mix. I saw these guys, these heavy axemen, and I was a little concerned. I was a little worried about it, because I don't know if my ally had enough here. His cav, I think he's outnumbered in cav. Those heavy axemen are scary. He does have some spearmen, which I assume he's going to use in this cav engagement situation. So we'll see how that plays out. But first off, I'm just kind of playing a little bit of a again, I peeled a unit of archers. I'm playing a little bit of a, tip your toes in the water, so to speak. Just kind of poking at the enemy and seeing what they do. So I've got my archers up at the front here, and I'm helping my ally overwhelm the archers of the Teutonic Order. So since I peeled a unit of archers, we have one more unit compared to this Teutonic army. And I was curious to see, I'm also watching what this army is going to do. And he has not even made a single move here. He's not moved up his archers. I thought at the very least he would move up his archers to the edge of this hill and start firing down on my army, but he doesn't. And I now begin to peel over another unit of archers, because actually I just realized, let's see, he's got, this army is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this unit, he did peel. So he's mirroring my movement. This Prussian archer unit does belong to this main army, so he is trying to mirror, and I was like, oh, that's good, he's gonna mirror my movement. Now the cav is starting to move over here. We have a huge cav engagement. Now, I don't know if you saw earlier, look at this, oh my god, two sides that just brutally hate each other. Gotta love the Teutonic Lithuanian matchup. So I don't know if you notice, near my army, I'm sending over a unit of cav to kind of give my ally more of an advantage. I want to help them out, so I've got a unit here of Lithuanian knights. They're making their way. They've got to run through a pretty good distance but cav battles usually last a little while in 12-12. So I know I have time, so I'm just going to rush over and see what I can do. Of course, we have the Lithuanian spearmen going in to support their cav, and look at them. They're just walking in. Archers are also firing into the blob as well, and you can see that this is a pretty epic moment in the battle and a great way to start it off. Yeah, surround those Teutonic Knights. Now, he has not committed his infantry, but he's about to now, because Lithuania has sent in their spearmen. I have my knights finally making it to this side. I see that there is a little pocket here. And when going into, let me do some slow motion. When looking at this engagement, I was trying to think, okay, where can we slowly chip away at this cav force? I saw that there was a 1v1 over here. I could tip the balance of this battle by sending in both my units of cav and surrounding. Also, their backs are turned to me, so I can get a nice rear charge and try to turn this battle around. And if we can beat this cav unit, that's going to free up 3 units of cav, which we can use elsewhere to support other sides of the battle. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I sent over my cav. They're charging in, and it is getting pretty spicy over here. The fight over here, a little concerning. A cav unit's already breaking for Lithuania, having to deal with those axemen. The spears are in the mix as well, but the axemen are definitely causing an issue for the Lithuanian cavalry. And then over here, this also looks very promising for the Teutonic Order. So the Teutonic Order does appear to be winning in most of these little fights, but it's only just begun. So we'll see how this plays out. Now we've got archers moving up and kind of firing at the infantry as they shift over. Everything's kind of like naturally shifting towards this cav engagement, and things are getting very interesting. We've got some infantry that are engaged. Let me do normal speed now. Some infantry that are engaged in a fight. And we've got another cav unit. This is the center Teutonic army. So again, he's mirroring my movement. He saw I sent over cav. He's going to now shift over cav. Again, that's good. That's good because I'm fighting him on flat ground. I'm not fighting him on a hill. So I love the fact that he's just shifting over more and more units to make a more fair fight in terms of terrain. So yeah, he's doing a great job there. I do appreciate that from the center Teutonic forces. Over here, nothing too crazy going on. They're still just kind of squaring up, which is perfect. Keeping these guys busy. That's all I care about. So this is playing out amazingly well. This is going very well. We finally broke the Teutonic Knights here. I'm now able to rear charge. I'm going to try to help out and go after these heavy axemen, but I shouldn't stay too long. My knights are shock cav, I believe. So I want to just charge in, maybe hang out for a few seconds, do a little bit of damage, and get out of there, and then charge again. And sure enough, here comes more cav reinforcements for the Teutonic Order. I'm going to go ahead and just square up and go against them, keep them locked in. And it's a nasty, brutal fight for this side. Who's gonna win the cav engagement? Here comes another cav unit. This is my ally moving in as well. Lots and lots of infantry are stuck in now. Teutonic and Lithuanian soldiers stuck into the fight. He's got a lot of infantry kind of flanking around. He's got some swordsmen over here. This is a problem. This is not good. So let's slow motion it again really quick and see some movement of troops here. I'm going to go ahead and shift over. These are really good. At the time, for some reason, I was like, oh, these are my lesser infantry, as in they're not the best I have. These are actually the best infantry I have in my army. I didn't necessarily mean to send in these guys, but you know, it is what it is. They're already over here. You're going to commit them. So I'm sending over 3 units of infantry, and this is the big moment. This is the kind of like hold your breath moment in this battle, because I am waiting and watching this Teutonic army. What are they going to do? Because they could easily force a fight against me, and I don't have 3 units of my infantry. That could mean trouble. Or he can shift over infantry and kind of mirror me, which again, that's good. But what's even better, he's not doing anything. He didn't send anything over, at least not to my knowledge, unless some of this infantry is his, which could be the case. But yeah, I've sent these these units over, and I'm looking for a fight. So I'm looking to go sneak through some gaps, you know, try to get behind enemy infantry, or just full-on charge the infantry of the Teutonic Order. And back over here, my cav, they're going to disengage and try to slow down this rear charge. Really good charge by the Teutonic Order. Sending in these 2 units of cav. Trying to get behind my forces, trying to break them. But, yeah, unfortunately, my cav is starting to reach its end. Reach their end, I should say, as they're running out of the will to fight. They've been fighting for a decent amount of time, and they're surrounded. And so, yeah, the Teutonic Order cav is just so good. It is so good, and you can see that they are winning this fight as we speak. But hopefully we've done enough here, because the infantry battle is actually going a bit our way. Now, mostly because I've shifted over some infantry, and my teammate's doing a fantastic job with his infantry. And because I shifted over more troops, we're overwhelming this Teutonic army. And look at this. Nice use of the Javies. You definitely don't want to charge these guys head on. They've got like polearm type weapons, halberds or whatever. He's using noble swordsmen who have a skirmish capability, which are doing a great job. And then we charge in. Look at that. I see them break in. I charge in to make sure they don't come back. And where we lost the cav engagement, we are winning the infantry engagement. So it's looking really good. And just now, you see these guys? This is the Teutonic Order center army forces, the center player. He's just now sending over infantry. So him being hesitant has really played in our favor. If he sent these guys a little bit earlier, maybe the infantry fight would be a little bit more in favor of or closer to the Teutonic Order, which would be really good for the Teutonic Order, because remember, guys, they just won the cav engagement. They can use this cav to hammer and anvil and do a lot of damage. But we'll see what he does with this cav. It's going to be a little bit more tricky because there's a lot of free infantry over here that are roaming around and are going to be able to anticipate a cav charge. Also, the general is getting locked in against Lithuanian infantry. Might want to be careful there. Does not want to lose his general. That could cause a huge morale break in their forces. You know, cause a chain morale break. But yeah, everywhere where we're fighting, it seems to be going in our favor as we are overwhelming these forces. Now, nice little cav charge by the Teutonic Order into my archers that got a little too close and don't have proper protection, but I do scare off the cav by an infantry charge. This cav is going unchecked, but thankfully I do have 2 more units of cav. 2 more units of cav. I got the Lithuanian Knights shifting over that way. I was upset. I was like, no. You're not going to charge my archers. I'm going to send over my cav and make this even more difficult for the Teutonic army on this side. And again, as time went on, I felt more and more comfortable because the center army just sat there. I was like, okay, he's still just sitting there. Now, so for many different reasons why this is good. The first reason, if he pushed forward and attacked me, he might have the advantage. I mean, he still has a lot of infantry. He's got his archers in prime full condition. He could easily break me here. And that's a problem, obviously. The other good thing is that I don't have to micro as much. If he attacked me here, I would have had to micro over here, and it cut, you know, higher chances of me making mistakes. But since he's just sitting here, I don't have to worry about either, and I can just keep on focusing on 3 or 4 units, which is really convenient for me to micro. It's not a full army, obviously. So yeah, we're just pushing through, we're flanking, we're surrounding, we're breaking, and this is the middle Teutonic army forces that have kind of set up a defensive line. They go ahead and charge in, and things start to really pick up here. Lithuania versus Teutonic Order. Let's go. A spicy rivalry. My cav is set up here. You can see my cav is now shifting forward. I moved them up because I noticed the Teutonic Order is moving down their general. And I'm going to go ahead and just hold my ground, but I see the Teutonic Order is going to fully commit, so I'm going to countercharge. Now, I am outnumbered because he brought his generals, so I'm going to send over another cav unit, and I decide, you know what? I want the advantage of units and numbers. I'm going to go ahead and send in my general as well. So that's going to give me a little bit extra, you know, manpower, so to speak, of cav force to kind of deal with the Teutonic Order. He pills his cav. He's going to go ahead and countercharge mine with the general, which is good. We got the general locked in. Look at this brutal fight. So cool of a charge. All right, let's do slow motion here really quick. You can see he's actually making some progress here, breaking some of my units. I need to quit. And they're very healthy, which is really bizarre to see them wavering with 149 men when they started with 160. But I'm going to quickly send over some infantry to make sure, hey, you know, fellow pagan brothers, do not break. More reinforcements have arrived. So we're gonna break these spears really quick, and then I'm gonna send these guys over to this main line, and hopefully my swords do not break here, which is, I'm really shocked by this. I can't believe they're breaking at such, you know, high number of troops in their unit. So back on this side, still they have not fought except for a little bit of a cav engagement, and you can see a lot of these 12-12 pitch battles fight like this, where the cav kind of have their own battle. Their cav kind of, you know, gets locked in on the left or right flank, and then you'll see 1 or 2 units of infantry kind of being tossed in. Lithuania doing a great job by sending in these axemen, and hopefully that will give him the edge in this cav fight. And you can see he's sending in more infantry as well. And now the other infantry units are lining up. He's got a lot of levy spearmen. He's got some Ducal infantry. More spearmen. So he's just got a nice long line of infantry. And the Teutonic Order, I think this player realizes, hey, this is not good. We've got a situation where it looks like we're struggling over here. I might want to push and try to beat this Lithuanian army, and then hopefully be able to take my victorious army and turn and defeat whatever is left over here. So that might be why the Teutonic Order is charging in. With my general charging in the help with that cav unit, we do break the Teutonic Order's general. That's good. Back over here, more and more infantry have joined this front line. And an ally Lithuanian army has sent up some spearmen and secured my men from breaking. And it's a brutal, bloody, cold fight in this winter wonderland. A not so wonderland. So now more and more infantry are advancing forward. You can see he's completely turned and angled his Prussian archers. So now is my time. Now is my time to push forward. The advantage of this hill is pretty much gone. You can see he's now shifting over his infantry as well. The player realizes, hey, we've got a big force that is on our doorstep, on our flank. He's going to maneuver and try to deal with that. And now he's got his archers just kind of firing into this big mess of a fight. Kind of just killing whoever he can, as many as possible before they advance and break through these lines, which we will break through these lines. Also, you got some crossbows making a run for it against one unit of infantry. I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't know if the player... I see that they're breaking, so they could easily, like, fully route at any time. But what I would have done here is just angled one to fire, the rest run. Like, whatever unit he's chasing, keep running. The rest just sit their ground and shoot at these guys. I think they could have killed this unit. I don't know, but it's working. The fact that this one unit is zoning out 3 units of crossbows, that is helping us a ton. A ton. So it's still getting pretty spicy over here. The fight is getting crazy over here, and Lithuania is doing an excellent job. His infantry is outmatching the Teutonic infantry, and because he sent over infantry into this cav fight, it's very even. You can see the Lithuanians also sent in some infantry. Actually, Teutonic Order is winning over here with this heavy axeman, but I think it's going to be a small victory. Now the crossbows look like they want a piece of this action, and they're charging into melee, which might not be the best for them. But that's okay. That's a great fight there. And now, speaking of Gettysburg-ish, we have the Teutonic Order kind of forming a fish hook. Not really. It's a very small L shape on the edge of this hill. And I noticed that, and now I'm sending in, remember I mentioned I sent in my better infantry? Well, this is my lesser infantry. They're the noble swordsmen. Is that right? That does, noble swordsman sounds pretty good. No, it's a tier 1. The noble, it's tricky. The noble swordsmen, they are good, but they are tier 1, which means they're an early period unit. But what makes them very powerful, they are cheaper than the Duchal swordsmen or infantry, but they have skirmishing ability. We saw that earlier. Teutonic Order is going to try to fire on my forces as they advance the hill. My archers are opening fire. I'm going to go ahead and hold my position here. I am not going to charge these pointy infantry, the halberd infantry. I'm just going to get up here and skirmish them. Use my skirmishing ability. Look at that. The archers, the javies. And it's just annihilating. And I'm simply going to run away. That's the luxury I have. I'm not going to engage in a fight where he wants me to engage. That's where he gets the advantage. So we're just going to fall back and be real annoying. He's going to stop pursuing because that would be a dead end for him if he kept chasing, because my archers would just keep shooting him. The Prussian archers are still firing at me, but it's not too big of a deal because these guys have shields. They're heavily armored. It's not going to do too much damage. And now I have some cav. Because we crushed their cav, I have some cav to roam around. So I sent it around this flank and got their archers. And that's going to silence the archers. And as my cav is charging in, I'm going to go ahead and push up the infantry to make sure this infantry doesn't turn around and help his archers. I'm going to have to, I'm going to make them make a choice. And at this point, they're very weak. And I'm like, I'm not going to retreat at this point. I'm just going to stand my ground and face them. Because I think I've done enough damage to where we could easily turn this to our favor. There we go. We break them there. At the same time, the other forces are attacking this main line of Teutonic spearmen. And now I have also 2 units of cav shifting around that are going to come around on this flank as well. Not as long as with my ally, along with my ally is what I was trying to say. Grand Duke's bodyguard. So we're shifting around our cav, and we're going to look for some fresh meat. We're gonna go for the the archers and any weak spots in their army. And he has a unit of cav here, not a big deal. I'm just gonna send in my infantry and overwhelm this cav. And you can see the battle's going very well. Our ally, single-handedly, they had a little 1v1 fight basically, and our ally came out on top in a big manner. Really clear victory for him, which it only just, makes his victory even more for sure. Solidifies our victory, so to speak. And yeah, I've got my Javi guys just throwing in some hate before they go into the charge. And it looks like the Lithuanians are going to take it here against the Teutonic Order. And that, guys, and let me do some slow motion so we can briefly talk about how this battle played out. I have dealt in Total War. If you've played Total War a lot of newer players will take hills and they will camp them, also referred as hill campers. I don't really mind it too much because I don't see it as that big of an advantage. If you know how to play against it, oftentimes when newer players camp on a hill, as soon as you make them have to rush around and shift troops around and kind of deal with weird flanks, it falls apart. It falls apart. And I'm not saying that this player is a new player or he's bad or anything. I'm just saying you'll see that oftentimes newer players, I mean, if I was on the Teutonic side, I'd be holding this hill as well. Who are you kidding? But yeah, you gotta extend. You have to extend and be prepared for a subtle attack. Now, the opponent here who's holding the hill, he never suddenly attacked me. He just kind of followed me, which is great. He slowly shifted troops over. I think if he was a little bit more aggressive, this would have been closer of a battle. But, that's what it comes down to. It's just shift your troops around. Try to fight in an area where, they don't want you to fight. They want you to charge forward. Don't do it. Don't do it. Shift around and try to, engage the enemy in an area that's a bit more neutral or in your favor. And that will help you deal with the hill campers and hopefully get you a victory. It's not always perfect, and every hill is different. But again, I wouldn't have been able to win this battle with awesome teammates here that did a great job of, fighting, winning their fight, and me being able to be, I was kind of like a support army in this battle. You know, I didn't have too much to worry about. I just kind of shifted over a couple troops here and there. I was able to hyper micro because it was only a couple troops. And there you have it, guys. That is the official victory. A close victory, though, maybe in Total War standards, but I think this was a pretty clear victory. With, you know, we have a lot of troops left over. So let's end the replay and look at some of these, you know, the results here, the performance of these units. You can see that my archers, it was pretty mixed, and it's really because a lot of my archers didn't join the fight until the very end because they were just kind of watching, you know, the hill. But 105 with these are Ruth. I never get the name right. It's like Ruthenian archers. There we go. That's kind of how I remember it. They're tier 1 archer, and they did pretty solid there. My infantry, remember, these are the noble swordsmen. These guys aren't as good. I did put chevrons on them before the battle, I'm pretty sure. But, or maybe they earned those chevrons, which might be the case. But most of them all have 100 or more kills. So just so good. If you have the opportunity to use Javies, please do before you charge in. We've got the Ducal infantry. A lot of them suffered major casualties, but they were kind of in the thick of it right at the beginning. 214, 200 kills with this one. Really good job from that infantry. So here's my teammates. We got Sweets, and then we have Ski Wolf over here, Ski Wolf 9. So great job. You can see their kills as well. And then our opponents, we have Chadwick. So he did decent with the archers. His cav, Teutonic order, it's all in their cav, and you have to dominate the cav battle, I think, to win as the Teutonic order, because I think the Lithuanian infantry is better. I could be wrong though. And then we've got baby something here. So I'll just call you baby. But yeah, here's their forces, and then Cassius. Good to play against Cassius again. He actually played in the, if you haven't seen it yet, the Dead Marshes battle that I uploaded recently. I think it was the last video. He was on the Elven team and beat me, so I got some payback here against Cassius. But yeah, this was a great fight. I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this battle, be sure to let me know by leaving a like and everything. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time on the battlefield.